Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining me on the Black Lens. Like, subscribe, and share. I want to talk to you guys about what we're seeing on in our streets, in our cities and states everywhere. The long food bank lines. We are seeing food banks across the country. We are seeing staggering upticks in service and the need for food for millions during the pandemic. Thousands of cars are lining up for food in every city and state. In the past few months, food banks have given out food to millions of Americans. We are seeing the need, the necessity for people needing food like we have from never before. And here's just a real quick example. 46 million people depend on food banks and meal services on an annual basis, even prior to the coronavirus pandemic. Now we are seeing those numbers double. We're seeing those numbers double. Look at these long food lines. Thousands and thousands, not hundreds, thousands and thousands of people are waiting for a few boxes of food so that they can feed themselves and some of their families. In 2019, about 38 million people used the Department of Ag's Nutritional Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, known as SNAP, formerly known as food stamps. So many people are in need of food before the pandemic and even now. Thousands and thousands wait for food donations in every city and state. The most challenging thing is food banks are being overwhelmed with the increased demand of people that are needing food in their homes. Some volunteers we're even seeing are just overwhelmed themselves because they need more help passing out the food, even as they need food. Y'all, that's deep. That's a deep thing when you see it and hear it and feel that. Oh wow, just to see so many people needing things like food, during the pandemic, and to know of so many that have needed it before the pandemic. It shows just how fragile things really were for a lot of people in their homes even before the pandemic. Knowing that people are waiting 4 to 5 to 6. In some areas I've seen, we were looking at even 10 hours waiting in long lines for food. And they passed out food to these families until they were out. You don't have to register. You don't have to do any of that. You just come. They know you need the food. Most food banks went from serving 60,000 people a week to 120,000 a week. And this is everywhere. These are in multiple places. Y'all, it's not hard to fathom or imagine when you're seeing it in your city and state. Most boxes of food are loaded into the people's cars, which to me that makes it easier. During the pandemic, we have to keep the social distancing up, and they are wearing their masks. A lot of them are wearing their gloves. So they're asking you just to pull right up, open your trunk, and for some people open your back doors, and they will load the food into the people's cars instead of them waiting in long lines. Like they used to do in food pantries. The lines were so long, they was like, hey, wait a minute, we can't do this social distancing with this many people in line. So, the mobile food pantries are really popular now and needed. And we're just witnessing, a lot of things going on in people's homes that you didn't really know. You have so many people out of work. Millions, have filed for unemployment and are needing, the food assistance like never before. So if there were almost 40 million needing food assistance before the pandemic, and just imagine now those numbers are doubling. Because this is everywhere you're going. People are in these long lines demanding food. Now, this is an image of how long they had to wait. This parking lot is showing you how long and how many people have had to wait, and they called them by line by line by line. This was almost a 10 to 11 hour wait, and people waited to get the food that they needed. Wow, this is a very, grappling image. Most of these images are very powerful, just telling, the need of the food insecurities with most people, with basically everyone now in America. So these images of long lines at food pickups, mobile points, just show how fragile things were, again, in people's homes before the pandemic. but this is very deep when you just look at that image. And this was actually before the pandemic, when you're seeing the long lines. They had lines for blocks, and by the block, blocks and blocks and blocks, miles and miles and miles of people needing the food assistance. And as you can see, all of these people have little carts. They were asked to bring little carts so that they could, push pull their bags of food. These were areas that were giving out big bags of, your fruits and vegetables. Now the mobile pickup pantries, they're actually doing, of course, the vegetables and the fruits, some juices, but they're giving out a lot of, meat too. A lot of meat as well. I'll say it that way to families. So as you see thousands waiting for food, what are your thoughts? I want to hear in the comments. I want you to share your stories with me, or things that you know of, or even places you've been, or maybe even you're volunteering or considering volunteering. What do you feel? What do you think about what we're seeing when you see not hundreds, not just a few? You're seeing thousands line up for the food assistance. That's a deep thing. I was just thinking about how, we're one of the most wealthiest countries. And a lot of people say, well, how are people looking for food in the most wealthiest country? A positive about it is this image right here. We are still a very powerful nation when we are able to allow this many people to line up in need. And look at the distribution. Look at the service. Look how much service is being given out. That's another area, another city and state of miles and miles of people being served with multiple boxes of food, fresh fruits and vegetables. So, we haven't lost all hope yet, you guys. We are still able to have the things that we need. It may not be your wants in a lot of the boxes, but there's certainly a lot of your needs being met, and that's a good thing. And like I said, tell me in the comments, what do you feel about food distributions? And also, you can reach out to me in the comment section, and whatever city and state you're in, and I can kind of connect you to areas if you need to help yourself or a neighbor. And also, if you want to find local pop-up pantries or mobile food pantries. I really like those because everybody know that every city and state and county has a food pantry in the area, several in most city and states. But for you to know where the local mobile food pantries are popping up, these are pop-up mobile pantries. They don't always announce them before they do it. You have to know or have heard about it or hearing about it. So if you need to know and find a location to the local pop-up food mobile pantry, just go ahead and click Google, search Google or whatever your search engine is, your favorite search engine, and by zip code and or your state, you can look up keywords like pantry, mobile food pantry, pop-up mobile food pantry. Make sure you click on food pantry. A lot of the universities have joined forces with the states and the cities to help distribute food. So, they may be at one of your largest arenas to where multiple cars can come in and you can get the food passed out or receive the food as well. But a lot of your local universities have also joined forces in helping distribute food to Americans. Also, a lot of your local schools, a lot of students are out of school. Of course, millions are still doing virtual virtual classes, and so many are homeschooled. You have the virtual, you have the homeschool, but we're talking about the virtual children here. A lot of them, their schools are also passing out, the food that is being missed by those virtual students. So I don't know how they're really doing that, but I know that they are passing out a lot of that food. So that's another option. But the best thing to feed families, not the kids' school food, it's actually the these mobile food pantries, and that'll help the families where you can prepare the food you need to prepare how you want to, not the way it's boxed or bagged and given to you, by some of the schools. Which the schools, that's a great thing to give the food away. You can't have all the food in there doing that, and the majority of the children aren't there. So, also, this is a photo right here. This is an image of the jammed intersections with lines and lines, dozens of cars trying to get into the mobile food pantries, trying to just get a spot lined up so they can be served these boxes of food. That's a very deep thing, seeing that And another thing I noticed too, you guys, they have been using National Guard. And don't be alarmed when you hear that. You have to have people to help. They've had National Guard to help pass out these boxes of food. They've had them help pass out these boxes of food because the need has been so great. Yeah, so that's pretty deep. But here on the Black Lens, we touch on a variety of topics, and I just thank you guys for clicking like, for subscribing, for sharing, and also giving me your opinion, your point of view, and even asking questions or telling me information that I can share on the next episode of the Black Lens, on exactly what we can do to help others, and also to service ourselves, because right now it's a great effort that everyone can help with in any kind of way, on information that we could spread along to, positive information, good helpful information that we could spread along to other people. So y'all tell me what you think, let me know how you feel, and I also want to hear, have you ever faced any food insecurities? If so, where did you go? What did you do? And if not, where have you seen people needs being met the most? That way we can get them the help that they need. So I want you to continue to look at this. This is another image of both directions of traffic. Both directions of traffic completely full. Look at this. They had to actually, the opposite direction had to be blocked so that people could come into the food banks. Wow, incredible. Well, thank you so much for joining me on the Black Lens, you all. I hope you all stay blessed, and I hope you have everything you need. Thank you so much. Like, share, subscribe. Take care.